But Ashok Sajjanhar, sir, you're a career diplomat. I'm going to come to you. Do you think it is the diplomat's job to be honest? Is the president's job to be honest during negotiations? Is that going to be the way forward? Do you think Trump may have changed what the terms of engagement and diplomacy are now?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show. You know what we saw with Cyril Ramaphosa, what we saw with Volodymyr Zelenskyy, in my view, it was not diplomacy. It was trying to browbeat, making an opponent of your friend, because diplomacy is supposed to build bridges between, have, outcomes which are win-win outcomes.
Right.
And making a spectacle of your differences that might be there. I don't think it helps the cause of either party. If you have any disagreements, okay, you try to, have the discussions behind closed doors, try to bring those differences, try to remove those differences. But, if you have spoken about them in public, then you are putting yourself, that means you have ground yourself in that situation, in those circumstances. You will not be able to change your position because the whole world has seen what your position is. So, there is no room for negotiation. There is no room for any compromise or anything on any of that sort.
That's very interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ambassador Sajjanhar. Let me take that across to Vibhutija. No room for any negotiation. After all, this is all being telecast live. But Vibhutija, are you also worried this is the way we have seen interactions with your own alliance partners? These are not enemy states. These are alliance partners, long-standing alliance partners of the United States. What if they get miffed? What if they decide tomorrow they would rather cozy up to arch rivals China? Does that worry you?
No, it doesn't worry me. See, remember one thing, there is a work that we do beyond being a Republican Party candidate X. We do work on leadership, transformation, and change. One of the things that is important in transformation is you cannot be doing the same thing, expecting the same different outcome. Ashokji is a senior diplomat. I mean, I'm not contesting him on his wisdom and experience at all. But what I want to definitely bring forward is, do things need to change? And if the things need to change, you got to thrash it out in public, because you always have a position to change your perspective. I can be wrong, but talking about it here like we are doing, it allows me to air my
That's an interesting point. So what if we decide that tomorrow we have a different perspective? Because so far we have seen in diplomacy, it doesn't change with different leaders. It's more about the consistent stand of a nation. But Ashok Sajjanhar, can we change the very yardsticks of diplomacy here onwards? Let's change our mind later on if we feel so. Why not?
No, that's perfectly fine. You see, all countries, all leaders, when they get elected, they have all the right to put their imprint on whatever they are doing, like Mr. Trump has done. He, in terms of not supporting the NATO and supporting Ukraine against Russia, but cozying up to Russia, etc., he has full right to do that. He's the leader. He's been elected by the people. He can make policy. But the point is that, those things can also, particularly when you're talking about diplomacy, what is the most fundamental factor as far as diplomacy is concerned? That is trust, that is confidence, that is belief, that is faith, that, I can trust you. Right. If you are going to sort of, in front of all the people, the whole press, the world media, if you are going to harangue me, if you are going to sort of, scold me, where is the trust? Where is the respect? After all, when you want to move forward, there has to be mutual respect. And
What's the ground of your alliance? What's the ground of your diplomacy? It has to be a bedrock of trust between the two alliances. Ambassador Sajjanhar says that is significant. If you keep changing your stance, you may just antagonize your own alliances if there is no trust. But Vibhutija says that the time has come for more honesty in diplomacy, and that's what we are getting from President Trump. Well, I believe we are going to let you, the viewers, decide. Thank you so much, both of you gentlemen. Appreciate it joining us here on the show. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.